The boy's letter to God was all crumpled up until a kind woman unfolded it carefully, revealing beautiful words written in childish handwriting. As she began to read them aloud, everyone present at the orphanage stood still and listened attentively. "Dear God," the letter began, "I know that you are very busy with all the children of the world, but I need your help." She looked around at all the other orphans in the room who were listening intently to the letter. The woman felt an overwhelming sense of sadness and despair for these children who had experienced such great loss at such a young age. She couldn't imagine what it must be like for them to wake up every morning without their parents or siblings by their side. His name was Mika, and he was sitting quietly in a corner of the room, staring at the floor. His hair was unkempt and his clothes were dirty and torn. But what struck her the most was his unwavering faith. "Me," he whispered. Despite everything he had been through, he still believed in God, and he wasn't afraid to ask for help. "Please bring my family back to me. My mom, dad, brother and sister. They were taken away from me 3 months ago by some bad people. We need to find out who took this boy's family away from him, and we need to do it quickly. He is not getting any younger, and we want to give him back his childhood while he still has time. I am so lonely here. Everyone here is nice to me, but I don't want to live here. I miss my family so much. I miss my mom's delicious pancakes, my father's stories about bugs, my brother's laughter and my sister's hugs. Life here doesn't make me happy. I just want to be with my family. God, please bring them back to me. Will I get to see my family again?" She knew she had to do something to help him, not just for his sake, but for the sake of all the other children in the orphanage. "We're doing everything we can to find them. Maybe he would be able to see his family again." When the staff saw him, they knew that he was different from all the other visitors. There was something about his demeanor that suggested importance and urgency. No one had found his family, and he was starting to feel that he would never see them again. He missed them so much, and he wished that he could just run away from the orphanage and find them on his own. Maybe he wouldn't have to spend the rest of his life alone in the orphanage. As the woman read these words, tears streamed down her face. "You'll get to see them very soon. I'm here to take you to see them." Mr. Williams got up and said, "That's them, Mika. Your parents are here." The woman then turned her gaze back to the letter and continued reading. He ran to the door and threw it open, and there they were, his mom and dad, standing in front of him with tears in their eyes. "God, if you can't bring my family back to me, I don't want to live anymore." They apologized for being away for so long and promised to never let anything bad happen to him again. He hugged them tightly, feeling the warmth and love that he had missed so much. He had his family back, and that was all that mattered. The man knelt down in front of Mika and introduced himself. "Hi, Mika. My name is Mr. Williams. I'm here to take you home." The staff at the orphanage became like a second family to him, and he knew that no matter what, he would always have someone to turn to if he needed help. As they walked, he explained that he was a private investigator hired by the orphanage to find Mika's family. They had worked so hard to reunite Mika with his family, and it had finally paid off. They knew that this was what truly mattered, seeing the children in their care happy and loved. And sometimes all it takes is a little bit of kindness and compassion to make a world of difference in their lives. He said that they had put a lot of effort into finding them, and they were finally able to locate his parents. He couldn't remember the last time he had felt this much joy and anticipation. He ran to the window and looked out onto the street, hoping to catch a glimpse of his parents' car. They contacted all the local authorities and charities, but no one had any information about his parents or siblings. She said that they had found a picture of him with his family, and they were going to show it to people in the area to see if anyone had seen them. Mika's hope started to dwindle, and he began to think that he would never see his family again. He didn't understand why his family had been taken away from him, but he knew that he didn't want to live without them. He jumped up and ran to the door, not wanting to waste a second more before being reunited with them. He missed them so much, and all he wanted was to be with them again. "Please take my life and let me go to heaven. To be with Jesus. I love Jesus. He is my best friend. I know he loves me too. If I die, I will be happy because I will be with Jesus. But if I die, please take care of this dog. He is my only friend now. Please give him food, water and a warm bed. God, I beg you, bring my family back to me or let me die." A gasp went through the crowd as they heard the boy's desperate plea to God. It was hard to believe that such a young child could have such strong faith and courage. The woman's hands trembled as she continued reading, "I love you, God. Amen." The silence in the room was deafening as everyone tried to process the letter. The woman felt a lump in her throat and her eyes welled up with tears. She knew she had to do something to help this boy and his dog. After the woman finished reading the letter, she looked at the boy who had written it. "Mika," she said softly, kneeling down in front of him, "who wrote this letter?" The boy looked up at her with big, innocent eyes. "Why did you write this letter?" "Because I want my family back," he said, his voice trembling, "and I want to be with Jesus." The woman felt a pang in her heart. She couldn't imagine what this little boy had been through to make him so desperate. She stood up and addressed the staff. Everyone nodded in agreement. They knew that this was a serious matter and they needed to act fast. Meanwhile, Mika sat quietly in the corner of the room, hugging his dog close. As the days went by, the staff at the orphanage worked tirelessly to find Mika's family. One day, a woman from the staff came up to Mika and told him that they had a lead on his family's whereabouts. Really? Mika asked, his eyes lighting up with hope. I hope so, Mika, the woman said, smiling. Don't lose hope. Mika hugged his dog tightly. He didn't want to get his hopes up, but he couldn't help but feel a glimmer of optimism. As the days turned into weeks, Mika began to lose hope again. But then one day, something unexpected happened. A man in a suit and tie came to the orphanage looking for Mika. They led him to a small room where Mika was playing with his dog. Home? Mika asked, his eyes widening. Do you know my family? Yes, I do, Mr. Williams said, smiling. Mika couldn't believe his ears. Could it be true? Was he finally going to see his family again? Mr. Williams followed Mika out of the room and into the hallway. They're coming to the orphanage right now to pick you up, Mika, Mr. Williams said, his voice filled with excitement. Mika's heart raced as he thought about seeing his parents again. Just then, a black car pulled up outside the orphanage. Mika's eyes widened in disbelief. He couldn't believe that his family had actually come to take him back. Mom, Dad, Mika cried out, rushing into their arms. His parents held him close, whispering words of comfort and reassurance. As Mika embraced his parents, he knew that everything was going to be all right. Meanwhile, the staff at the orphanage looked on, their faces filled with joy and relief. And as for Mika, well, he never forgot the kindness of those who had cared for him when he needed it the most. So if you ever see a child with a kind and innocent face, remember that they might have a story that's even deeper than you think.